Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're hanging out with me today because we are going to do something really fun. We're going to put a simple, everyday English conversation directly under the microscope. We're taking a super brief source transcript, a classic beginner's English interaction, and breaking it all the way down to its core. We are literally looking at the anatomy of a perfect exchange here. And our goal today? Finding the bank. Now, I know that sounds incredibly simple, but when you really look at the mechanics of how we communicate when we need help, well, it's just fascinating.
Look, we have all been there, right? You're in a brand new place, the streets all look exactly the same, your sense of direction has completely vanished, and yeah, that mild panic starts to set in. How do you find the bank? Or the train station? Or the grocery store? This core question is going to center us on the main objective of our source text today. We're looking at exactly how a beginner to the English language can confidently navigate this exact moment of uncertainty without completely freezing up.
Okay, let's dive into this. We can organize this whole interaction into a highly predictable four-step rhythm. Number 1, getting a stranger's attention. 2, stating what you need. 3, understanding the directions. And 4, finishing with gratitude.
All right, let's start with phase 1. Section 1, getting a stranger's attention. Taking that very first step to interrupt a stranger's day, it takes a bit of courage. So let's look at exactly how the source text handles it. Here's the quote directly from our material. "Excuse me, can you help me?" Hear the clear pronunciation in your head. "Excuse me, can you help me?" This right here is the pivotal action. It's basically the verbal equivalent of knocking on a door. You aren't demanding anything from them yet. You're simply asking for permission to ask a question. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how much heavy lifting those two small words actually do. Excuse me. It is the absolute universal tool for politely initiating contact with a stranger. It smoothly breaks the ice, It signals to the other person that you're polite, that you totally recognize you're interrupting them, and that you just need a brief moment of their time. It completely disarms any potential annoyance right out of the gate.
And boom, immediately we meet our second character. Let's go ahead and call them the guide. The guide responds with, "Sure, what do you need?" Look at how incredibly cooperative this is. That one word, sure, instantly lowers the seeker's anxiety. It immediately signals a willingness to help out. The guide has accepted the interruption and is explicitly asking for the seeker's objective. The connection? It's been successfully made. Which brings us perfectly to our second section, stating what you need. So now that the seeker has the guide's attention, we move into the second phase of our chronological microanalysis. This is where the actual destination must be clearly communicated. The seeker replies, "I want to find the bank." Notice what isn't there, right? There's no overly complex vocabulary. There's no complicated, twisted phrasing like, "I was wondering if you might possibly know the location of..." No way. It's just subject, verb, destination. I want to find the bank. Successful communication, especially for beginners, doesn't require fancy phrasing. It just requires absolute directness. And the guide fires right back. "The bank, it's not far." Think of this exchange like a quick ping-pong match. The seeker hits the ball over the net, bank, and the guide instantly hits it back, confirming the destination, the bank. Repeating that destination guarantees that both people are on the exact same page before any directions are even given. And hey, let's be totally honest here. There is an absolute universal relief to hearing "it's not far" when your feet are tired. When you're wandering around a new city, maybe carrying some heavy bags, and you feel entirely lost, those 3 words, "it's not far," are literally like a warm hug. It's this brilliant psychological boost dropped right in the middle of a totally functional conversation. But as we know, not far isn't actually a direction. So the seeker prompts the guide again. Where exactly is it? This is such a fantastic conversational strategy. The seeker is actively driving the conversation forward, prompting the guide to provide the actual, specific navigational instructions they need to solve their problem. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 3, understanding the directions. We have reached the climax of our explainer. The pleasantries are out of the way, the destination is confirmed, and now it's time for the guide to deliver the actual spatial solution. Here's the exact instruction from the source. Go straight, then turn left. You will see it next to the shop. Let's slow the interaction right down for a second here. Look at the exact formula the guide uses. It relies on extremely basic imperative verbs, just commands, essentially. Go, turn, see. There is zero confusing filler.
It's an incredibly precise, efficient transfer of geographical data from one human brain directly to another. When we break this down into procedural steps, you can see how truly manageable these instructions actually are. Step 1, go straight. Step 2, turn left. Step 3, see it next to the shop. A beginner learning English might feel totally overwhelmed trying to memorize a whole map, but literally anyone can remember 3 simple chronological steps. It makes the scary task of navigating a foreign environment completely doable.
So the crucial point is really understanding these small prepositional phrases. Let's look at next to. It's a vital spatial relationship indicating that the destination is immediately beside a landmark. If you can master a phrase like next to, you can practically copy and paste that onto almost any destination in the world. Next to the shop, next to the park, next to the station. It's a fundamental building block of spatial language.
And now we transition to our 4th and final phase, finishing with gratitude.
The transaction of information is complete, but the social interaction, not quite over yet. Politeness is what opened this exchange, and politeness is exactly what needs to close it. Our source text captures this perfectly, ending with "thank you very." Now, even though the transcript cuts off right there, we can easily infer the invisible much at the end. The core intent is crystal clear. This closing remark is the necessary end to a successful transaction. It validates the guide for their help and concludes the whole thing smoothly, allowing both people to just politely go about the rest of their day.
And this brilliantly illustrates the beautiful symmetry of this conversation. On one side, the seeker is asking the right, precise questions. Can you help me? Where exactly is it? And on the other side, the guide is providing calm, direct answers. Sure, what do you need? Go straight, then turn left. It's a perfectly balanced contrast. It really shows that successful communication is a team effort, even when it's between 2 complete strangers. Let's do a quick recap of the chronological flow here. We can map this entire exchange onto a timeline. Second 1, you had the initiation. Excuse me. By second 5, the request is made. Find the bank. By second 15, the direction is given. Go straight. And by second 25, the thanks are offered. This proves to any beginner out there that a daunting conversation doesn't have to be some 20-minute ordeal. It is literally just a quick, logical sequence lasting a matter of seconds.
Which brings us to our final question for you. Where will you find the courage to ask for directions next? We've stripped this entire interaction down to its absolute essential parts today, and I really hope you can see just how accessible it is. You've got the 4 steps, you've got the vocabulary, all that's left is for you to step out into the real world and speak. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep practicing out there, and I'll catch you next time.